What if I told you there's a company that knows you are watching this video right now? You might have never heard of it, but it is believed to have played a key role in capturing Osama bin Laden.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
It helped to uncover Bernie Madoff's $65 billion fraud.
For the biggest investment fraud in Wall Street history.
And it exposed a Chinese spyware system that infiltrated the computers of high-level targets.
Researchers say GhostNet targeted the offices of the Dalai Lama.
They do this by mining and visualizing immense amounts of data. Its clients include the CIA, the FBI, and the US military, who describe its services as giving them access to the Matrix. But it's this very power that also raises serious privacy concerns.
Does the NSA routinely intercept American citizens' emails?
No.
This is a story about a company that knows everything. This is the story of Palantir. It's September 11, 2001. The world watches in horror as planes crash into the World Trade Center. A day that changes everything. In the aftermath, there's chaos, but also a shared determination: never again. Out of this determination comes the Patriot Act, a law that grants the US government incredible power to combat terrorism.
Barbara, what's in this new anti-terrorism bill that would presumably help investigators get to the bottom of all this?
Right. Being able to trace email messages from place to place, making it easier to surveil people for terrorist purposes, for intelligence purposes.
In this climate of fear and urgency, a company takes shape. This company is Palantir. They are not widely known to the general public, but given its clients, that is not an accident. The company's name, Palantir, is inspired by the Lord of the Rings, where magical stones known as Palantiri allow users to keep tabs on everyone in Middle-earth, which is exactly what it became capable of in the real world.
Hey Peter, how are you? Are you having a good day?
Palantir was founded less than 2 years after 9/11 by Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal and an early investor in Facebook.
I think Peter was the person who told me this really pithy quote. In a world that's changing so quickly, the biggest risk you can take is not taking any risk.
Its CEO and co-founder is Alex Karp. He is often referred to as Dr. Karp because he holds a PhD in philosophy, and probably also because of his distinctive appearance. Karp often makes headlines for his outspoken statements.
I love burning the short sellers. Like almost nothing makes a human happier than taking the lines of cocaine and away from these short sellers who are going short on a truly great American company, not just ours, but just love pulling down great American companies so that they can pay for their coke.
Even though Palantir's main clients are powerful government agencies, both Thiel and Karp are known for their libertarian views, meaning they are advocates of individual liberty with minimal government intervention.
Obviously the US, there's a lot of people have a lot of freedom, and then at the same time there are a lot of ways in which it's not an entirely free country.
Despite Thiel's impressive track record, Palantir initially struggled to find investors. That changed when In-Q-Tel, the investment arm of the CIA, showed interest. With a $2 million investment from In-Q-Tel and $30 million from Thiel's own investment company, Palantir began developing software to combat terrorism and protect freedom around the world in a post-9/11 era. Leaked documents suggest that government officials were very impressed by Palantir when they first saw what it could do in 2008. And that is no surprise. There is simply no other company as good as finding unusual patterns in large datasets as Palantir. Today, it is an indispensable tool for government agencies, including the NSA.
CNN breaking news.
Another explosive article has just appeared, this time in the Washington Post. The NSA and the FBI are tapping directly into the central servers of 9 leading internet companies. Post says they're extracting audio, video, photographs, emails, documents, and connection logs that enable analysts to track a person's movements and contacts
In June 2013, Edward Snowden shocked the world. The former CIA and NSA contractor couldn't continue to take part in what he saw as huge violations of privacy.
Yeah, anything I can do to help you guys get this out, I will do. I don't have any experience with media.
He gave journalists a ton of secret documents that showed the US government, along with other governments, was spying on its own citizens. One of the programs Snowden exposed was ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary, which came from the increased surveillance powers after 9/11. It could collect everyone's internet activity, like emails, chats, browsing history, and even keystroke without a judge's permission. According to Snowden, ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary captures nearly everything a typical user does on the internet. And it might sound counterintuitive, but one of the drawbacks of ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary was that it was too powerful. The insane amount of data it extracted was simply overwhelming. Imagine searching your Gmail, but the results come from every Gmail inbox in the world. Palantir had the solution. Documents revealed by Snowden directly tie Palantir to the ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary surveillance activities. Basically, they help to make sense of all the information by visualizing it and connecting the dots. And if that sounds too abstract, here is Margot Robbie to explain it. At least a budget version.
Imagine you're running a lemonade stand. Every day, you track how much you sell and your expenses. Lemons, sugar, cups, and so on. At the end of the week, you've got a big spreadsheet of numbers, but just looking at it doesn't immediately tell you if you're making a profit. Now, you install Palantir and it instantly creates a simple chart showing your income versus expenses. Suddenly, it's clear you're making money. This is simple data visualization, but Palantir can go further. Your neighbor, Mr. Johnson, buys lemonade every day, but oddly, he's allergic to lemonade. Curious, you remember your dad owns a hotel and once mentioned that Mr. Johnson checks in sometimes. Then, your teacher, Miss Smith, shows up at school with a cup of lemonade, even though she never visited your stand. You decide to combine your lemonade stand records with your dad's hotel records and find that every day Mr. Johnson buys lemonade, he also checks into the hotel. And on those same days, Miss Smith orders room service to his room. Always the same. Cigarettes and a bottle of water. She pays for it with her credit card. By cross-referencing the data, you uncover Mr. Johnson's secret affair with your teacher. This is exactly what Palantir does with ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary. By cross-referencing seemingly unrelated datasets, it reveals hidden connections that might otherwise go unnoticed. But instead of working with lemonade stand financials and hotel records, they are provided with everything everyone does on the internet.
And this is not just the case for American citizens. This map shows that ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary was able to retrieve information from people all around the world. Furthermore, documents show that the use of Palantir wasn't limited to the US government. Access was also provided to members of the Five Eyes, an intelligence sharing alliance between the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Documents show that the UK's International Spy Agency had detailed how-to guides on how to use Palantir to analyze data captured by ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda.
Even though the combination of ack-proposal-cuts-ties-with-hbgary and Palantir raises serious privacy concerns, Palantir was not built to keep track of which YouTube videos you watch in your spare time. As mentioned before, one of the reasons it was founded was to combat terrorism, and it can be argued that it has been quite effective. One example that is often discussed is its role in capturing Osama bin Laden. Although the specifics remain classified, it is believed that Palantir software helped to connect the dots that ultimately led to bin Laden's location.
And right behind me there, if you can see the trees down on the corner, that's only about 1,000 feet.
John Coogan has spoken about Palantir's potential involvement in capturing bin Laden in a video he made on Palantir. Because Coogan works for Founders Fund, one of Thiel's companies, it is possible that he knows more than we do. However, this connection could also introduce a favorable bias. While Palantir's role was likely significant, it remains speculative.
Morning, the sentencing of Bernie Madoff, the mastermind behind the biggest Ponzi scheme in history, getting 150 years behind bars.
Palantir's role in catching Bernie Madoff is much clearer. Bernie promised investors high returns in exchange for their investments. He collected around $65 billion, but their money was never actually invested.
I lost everything. I lost all my savings from my life savings from modeling and my inheritance from my mom. My mom had just died.
Withdrawals were funded out of new deposits, and he was able to keep the fraud going for decades, all while living an extremely lavish lifestyle.
Madoff built a fabulous life with the money he stole. His New York City penthouse apartment, seen here in pictures obtained by ABC News, was decorated with nothing but the best. And it was the same at the homes in the Hamptons, in Florida, and on the Riviera in France.
This was until his sons Mark and Andrew snitched on him and told the authorities that his investment firm was one big lie. In 2013, TechCrunch got access to a private document that confirmed that Palantir's software was pivotal in the investigation, and this provided the necessary evidence to convict Madoff.
Canadian researchers say an electronic spying operation has gained access to computers in hundreds of government and private offices.
Then there's GhostNet. GhostNet was a Chinese cyber-espionage operation that infiltrated more than 1,000 computers in over 100 countries. This includes the Dalai Lama's office, a NATO computer, and various national embassies.
You can just imagine what an attacker could do with this kind of tool in place. From retrieving all of the documents to recording all the keystrokes, sending email as if it was you, because it really is coming from your email client on your computer.
GhostNet was uncovered by a Canadian research organization in 2009, who published a report that states that they used Palantir technology to analyze and visualize the data they had collected during their research. It is clear that Palantir makes powerful technology and that it has been very successful in combating terrorism, fraud, and espionage. But it would be naive to ignore what Snowden revealed. Most of the data came from X-Keyscore, but Palantir clearly played a big role in making sense of it. This allowed the US government to spy on its citizens and people all around the world. It's hard to fit Palantir's role in these surveillance activities with the libertarian views of Thiel and Karp, or the company's own privacy statements. This becomes even more apparent when you look at leaked documents that show a plan to sabotage WikiLeaks with Palantir's logo on the slides. These slides proposed cyber attacks and misinformation campaigns to discredit WikiLeaks. Palantir denied suggesting these tactics, but did apologize after the information became public. Moreover, Karp, for example, called out big tech companies for monetizing your data.
The core issue, though, is who decides? The small island in Silicon Valley that would love to decide what you eat, how you eat, and monetize all your data.
And although the connection between Palantir and X-Keyscore was made over 10 years ago, experts believe not much has changed. Palantir still counts the government as its primary client, and according to Snowden, things have only gotten worse. He warns that today's surveillance technology is far more intrusive and make what he revealed in 2013 seem like child's play. Should we embrace a company like Palantir and trust it to protect us from evil? Or does its technology that facilitates spying on citizens cross a line and become evil itself? In any case, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, because that really helps the channel a lot. And as always, I really hope to see you in the next one.